Right, so about a year ago, I made a couple of videos on on my previous edition of the Limb Report, which had, was taken off me beyond my control. But yeah, so a year ago, I made a couple of videos about Liam Lawson, which turned out to be pretty big hits for my channel. So I'm hoping this one has the same success. Although I guess Liam Lawson is a bit of a known quantity now. But yeah, look. In any case, whether it flops or not, I thought it would be a good time to provide a sort of a update year on Liam Lawson because a lot has happened and a lot is at play at the moment. So just to recap, if you recall, Liam Lawson, of course, was drafted into what was then AlphaTauri, to when Daniel Ricciardo broke his finger at the Dutch Grand Prix, and and he did a really respectable job, of course, back in the and on the back of that, everyone was clamoring him to get a full-time seat in Formula One for 2024. Ultimately, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda were announced as the drivers for AlphaTauri, which is now Visa Car RB. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm just gonna call it. I might just call it Red Bull Minardi for ease of reference. But yeah, it will deserve. I guess at the time, of course, obviously Ricardo came in, broke his finger, didn't really have the chance to show what he could do. So I thought and of course he had it was Danny Rick. You have to give him a chance, and I thought that was fair enough. Lawson would stay with Red Bull as a reserve driver. There were talks that he might replace Logan Sargent at Williams because he had underperformed, but word is that Lawson and his dad said turned that it was like Red Bull or nothing at all. So we're back to just a few months ago. Of course, you had the news. Ricardo's second coming to Red Bull just didn't quite happen. And it was ultimately mutually agreed that Ricciardo would step aside and Liam Lawson would would take his place for the rest of the 2024 season. Obviously, now, of course, we should address, at the time, of course, when the reaction to the news was kind of, it was a bit harsh on Lawson, to say the least, although, it has to be said, a lot of F1, the newer generation of F1 fans in the post-DTS era, are a bit immature at times, to say that politely, and there was a lot of harsh treatment words with Lawson, and the fact that I guess he was replacing probably the most popular driver in Formula One in recent times. But look, I guess nevertheless, on results so far at least, it appears to be a very, very justified move. Just to recap, of course, Lawson returned to Formula One at COTA at Austin at the US Grand Prix. He did have to start from the back of the grid, but he finished ninth ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, who had qualified 10th. And of course, Yuki Tsunoda was kind of caught blindsided a bit by Lawson's unbelievable pace. You've seen all the YouTube video, about Lawson having arguments with Fernando Alonso, and of course you go to Mexico where Lawson gave the finger to hometown hero Sergio Perez, which I think on first glance probably is not the best idea to do in the country where there are a lot, the mob is pretty powerful, and certainly to the hometown hero. And then, latest race, of course, Brazil, which, undoubtedly was the toughest race. That ninth place, I think you have got to put that in perspective. It's a very highly, highly respectable performance. You looked at other, like of Colapinto, Bierman going off the track. Lawson kept it pretty much on the tarmac, which, by the way, that tarmac was resurfaced, so I think that certainly caught out even the most experienced of drivers. I think, was it Hulkenberg or Magnussen who went off? But yeah, in any case, tricky conditions, and again, just like Zandvoort, Lawson finishing the points, very, very respectable performance. And yeah, look, I guess the news, I guess it now comes down to what next for Lawson. Look, obviously Ricciardo is history now. As it stands officially, there's only one vacant seat in Formula One, and that is the one that Lawson happens to be occupying. Although it kind of feels like Checo's seat isn't exactly safe. I think evidence of that is like Mexico, Checo complained to Christian Horner about Lawson, but the Horner and Marco just didn't, seem to shrug it off, which would suggest maybe something's a bit up. Look, I was actually surprised that Checo didn't announce that he was going to retire at the end of the season, because it kind of feels like, look, I mean, Checo's been great for Formula One, and it's a bit of a surprise. It's a bit sad how things have kind of transpired in the last couple of months, or I guess you look back a year even. There were calls for Checo to be replaced, and obviously that's why Daniel Ricciardo was there. And for a moment it seemed like Checo was kind of upping his game, but where Red Bull struggled, he seems to have fallen back. And of course, Max Verstappen's on track to have the biggest points difference to his teammate if he does, and it almost seems likely to be world champion, not since 1994, Michael Schumacher, to, well, a combination of drivers, including Max's father. So that, yeah, I mean, I think Lawson will almost certainly be in Formula One in 2025. I mean, the fact he's already in there. Look, I know there are tons of Colapinto fans, and I like to think he will be in Formula One. He certainly deserves to be in Formula One in 2025. But obviously, Lawson is already in there. On these performances alone, it's unlikely that he'll outscore Daniel Ricciardo in the World Championship. But, with the fact that he's had 4 points in just 3 races, is truly stellar. And, yeah, I mean, look, to be honest, I don't care where he is. He needs to be in Formula One, whether he's Max Verstappen's butler or not. I think, I think, to be honest, if Lawson does go to the top team, I don't think he's necessarily going to be annihilated by Max Verstappen. I think he'd be the perfect number 2. Look, I mean, he's fast, and he would certainly be faster than Sergio Perez, but I think he does have the attitude that he's not he has shown, with those arguments with Alonso, the way he's talked, by the way, that McLaren, singing New Zealand anthem, that McLaren, that was kind of taken out of text, so I'm not going to spend much time deliberating on the fact that, about McLaren being originally registered as a British, etc. That was just a bit of a poke that was kind of misquoted by the media. But look, I think the fact, Lawson has shown that he has got the right stuff to cope. Almost feel like that he has what Gasly and Albon didn't have. For now, of course, he has to spend the whole season at Red Bull, before he can cover. But I think certainly he has the elements there, and that he'll make the perfect deputy to Max Verstappen, which would be quite. So look, any seat is fine at this stage for Liam Lawson. I know that clearly Yuki Tsunoda is not going to be Max Verstappen's deputy anytime soon. And yeah, so I think maybe, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, anything's really on the card. I don't necessarily think Sergio Perez's seat is necessarily safe. There could still be a mutual agreement. Seems to be pointing that way, but look, we shall have to see. I mean, you look at what happened with, for example, Valtteri Bottas at Sauber. Teams can agree mutually, and I guess the fact Sergio Perez is sort of on the older end of the scale, and you have Bottas out of Formula One, it could suggest it could happen. So I mean, no one is really safe in Formula One. So look, we've got about 3 more races. Lawson's got plenty of chance to overhaul Daniel Ricciardo. It remains. Look, I think all in all, it's looking quite bright for Liam Lawson and for New Zealand in Formula One. But look, what are your thoughts on Lawson? How has he done since he's taken over again halfway through the season? And will he be in Formula One? Or actually, the question is, where will he be in Formula One? Will he be in the number one Red Bull seat, or will he be, will he continue the Sooner Lawson show? Of course, remember these two are very good friends from DTS Day. So, I'd like to hear your thoughts, and of course, if you like this video, if you like, don't forget to subscribe.